leadership flashing with brilliance and excellence.
Shine bright everywhere we go. Light shine bright everywhere we go. Music for the people, making music for the people. Light shine bright everywhere we go. Light shine bright everywhere we go.
Leadership impacting society with peace, love, and hope. Shining the light for America, the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I got to say, my podcast schedule has been, off kilter. I'm asking you to be patient. This episode, the title of it is there a way to beat woke capitalism? So here's what we're going to do, if you don't mind. We're going to be analyzing the news, but first I'm going to give you the parameters of answering this question. Number one, don't use the yes/no toggle switch. I mean, I'd like to believe yes. Have hope, That's the message of the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership, is for Pete's sake, have hope. Number two, don't use the reactive, it depends. Okay, that's a degenerate culture, and it leads people hanging. Okay? The point from here on out, the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership is to make people think. And I know it annoys people. You present content and it's in a form of a question. But if it's good enough for Socrates and it's good enough for my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, well then it's good enough for me. Here we go with the analysis of the news on how we can beat Big Woke Capitalism. Now, we're going to go over to CBN News. And here's we're going to analyze maybe two news stories. Speaker Mike Johnson honors God under difficult circumstances, trying to be a servant leader.
America is in a spiritual battle. Well, that's how Speaker of the House Mike Johnson describes the divisions in the country today. He also said God has called him to be a servant leader during these turbulent times. Well, CBN News chief political analyst David Brody talked with Speaker Johnson about the challenges ahead.
Speaker Johnson, David Brody. How are you? Great.
When we met in the ceremonial room on Capitol Hill, House Speaker Mike Johnson looked at ease, although his job has been anything but.
You are Speaker of the House. It kind of feels like you actually might have a different title, Herder of the Cats.
It's important to note this is not a job I ever aspired to. We got ourselves in a bit of a pickle here.
A GOP pickle that can go from sweet to sour at any time. He's the first speaker in history to take over in the middle of a session and finds himself running a one-seat Republican majority and split caucus.
Democrats typically tend to think more kind of like a union. They sort of stick together. Mm-hmm. They're more monolithic. They move as a herd. They're more kind of social animals, right? Republicans, by contrast, are rugged individualists. We care deeply about our core principles and our philosophy, and we're not easily moved. And that's a great blessing, usually. Mm-hmm. But when you're trying to keep all those cats together and move in the same direction with a one-vote majority, it sometimes presents challenges.
Such as House Freedom Caucus members frustrated over what they call bad spending deals with Democrats rush through the process in typical D.C. fashion.
They're clearly concerned about the way you're governing.
Yeah, so what some of my colleagues will privately admit, but not always publicly, is they understand we have the biggest challenge that's ever been presented to the Congress.
That hasn't stopped Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene from filing a motion to vacate to jettison Speaker Johnson because she doesn't think he's standing up enough for conservative policy positions. Of course, that's not easy when Democrats control the White House, Senate, and you barely have a Republican majority in the House.
And so I have virtually zero leverage to be able to negotiate and get a better package.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're going to speak to her this week. Have you spoken to her?
I tried over the 2-week break. She wasn't interested in speaking.
She says you're, basically a deep state operative. She didn't use the word operative, but you're working for the deep state, in essence, paraphrasing. Also, she's attacked your faith.
Well, I try to follow all the biblical admonitions as I do every day, and one of them says you bless those who persecute you. I'm getting a lot of practice in that right now. And that a soft word turns away wrath.
That doesn't mean he's not pushing back against her threat.
We've got to demonstrate to the American people that we can keep the train on the tracks. And so pulling a motion to vacate, removing the speaker right now, is exactly the opposite of what we need to show the country.
Do you believe that if there's some sort of motion to vacate that she goes forward with this, that there will be some Republicans, one or two, whatever it is, that jump and go with Democrats and Hakeem Jeffries is all of a sudden speaker? Do you think that is a potential reality here?
Well, listen, if the chair is vacated, it's certainly possible you get a Democrat speaker.
And soon, Speaker Johnson will need to decide whether to put a Ukraine funding bill to a vote, something conservative members do not want.
If you put this Ukraine bill, even with some of your creative suggestions, on the floor, that's going to probably trigger that motion to vacate.
Well, we're working through all those issues with all of our members, trying to build that consensus that we talked about.
On the issue of abortion, consensus will be difficult for the GOP, especially now that former President Trump just refused to endorse a federal abortion ban, a move the avid pro-life speaker tells us he understands.
What we have to do right now, our challenge, is to build a culture of life. Before you can have a political consensus on an issue that's this controversial.
Okay. You know me. You know me. Both parties. I'm gonna come out swinging. And when I come out swinging big. Uh-oh. I promised he was to be the guest host of the show. So, sorry guys. Now, here is our guest host, Claude Ritmo. Let me tell you something, guys. I'm going to go swinging at both parties. Right now, what the Republicans need is unity. And this, if we're going to have politicians in Washington that's just going to act petty, start swinging at each other at a critical point in this nation's history, what do you say we vote the whole dang leadership in both parties out? Get a fresh thing in this whole wash. This ain't a way to beat woke capitalism. In fact, it furthers woke capitalism. Now listen. I know that this could I know that what Trump would do could anger pro-life. And I would pro-life to the core here, the James A. Hendrick Empowerment Network and the James A. Hendrick School of Leadership. But as conservative federalists, we believe that the abortion issue should be left to the states, not the federal matter. Period. Rubber stamp. End the story. I'll say it in a minute. Here's another news story. CBN News. Biden criticizes, it's a foreign policy deal, goes against Here's another news story. Dang it, unfortunately, there's no soundbite to it. And I promise you guys 2 news stories. Look, I'm going to say this regarding both parties. Neither one of y'all have clean hands. Alright? Quite frankly, I'm fed up. I'm fed up with both parties. Now, if you ask me who I support, I'm pro-life and I'm going to support Donald Trump. You think that Biden's going to support life? No. We need to start waking up. Now, I know some pro-life conservatives are up in arms over this abortion, man, but we can't beat woke capitalism if all we're going to do is just sit there and be mamby-pamby about everything. I'm passionate about the life deal. But I also think it should be a state's matter. I mean, come on. Didn't the founding fathers set up the Constitution based on states' rights? Right now, I think politically we're behaving like children, and I can't stand it. We as Americans, tell you one thing, we need to grab this woke capitalist snake by the head and never let go. I said my piece. Some of you guys who don't want Trump and you're on the conservative side, what do you prefer? Somebody's warmer than milk toast? We're not going to get everything. Y'all want 4 more years of Biden? Let me ask you that. We got serious corruption going on in this government. And there's all kinds of things coming out about Biden. I think if there's going to be a growing number of conservatives that are either Democrat or Republican, they're going to call themselves independent. Personally, I'm getting fed up with petty politics. Fed up. So I think we need to go to the voting booth this November, vote your conscience. I think we need to send D.C. a message. Both parties. Get Biden out. I think it wouldn't hurt for us to have Trump in. So we don't get everything that we want. We need to stop acting like toddlers in politics. Alright? I think that's part of the reason why Jimmy don't want to come on and talk about politics all the time. As a matter of fact, I want you to know, there's going to be a long suspension where we don't talk so much about politics. Because, quite frankly, we need to focus more on leadership right now. Because what we have in this country, in this world, is a crisis of leadership. What's wrong with a fearless leader that wants to lead some things to states and localities instead of making everything a federal case? I'm sick of this wah baby thing that's going on in this culture. While we're being saturated with migrants and America haters. If you don't like what's going on in this country, you leave. And it ain't a flag, it's a rag. Now, you listen to Claude Ritmo. I'm tired of everybody acting like children. Alright? Used to be in the days of the founding fathers. You had problems in Congress. You make an attempt to settle it, or you duke it out. Yeah. But you didn't know that about our founding. Sometimes there were fist fights on the House floor. We were tough back in those days. But what are we now? Why, baby. Big state feed us everything. People feed us everything. Okay, Claude, I think you've vented and said your piece. I'm going to take over the end of the show. Once again, guys, we can make this union strong again. But we're going to have to face some tough choices. Okay? Let's stop acting like stupid idiots. Okay? Let's stop nitpicking over every damn thing that's going on in this country. It's like the federal government should take care of us like babies. My daddy, the one that raised me, not my natural father, and I don't like the word step. It's my godfather. Let me tell you something. He let me know a message pretty soon is this. It's if you hand everything over to the government without personal responsibility, you're giving away everything about yourself. He taught me trust, but verify. And he left Vietnam a broken man. Not trusting the government and the political process. And for what I'm seeing him right now, it's easy to see why the old man felt that way. If we do not stop this childhood behavior, we're going to cease to be a country. Hope you enjoy listening to the James A. Hendricks School Leadership. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of the James A. Hendricks School Leadership Classroom. This is Jimi Hendrix saying until next time, keep up. Please keep up your hope. Please keep up your hope. I want you to keep up your faith. Listen to me, Jesus saves, and we're all going to be okay. All right, I want you to remember that. And I want you to take care and be proactively informed. God bless you. Remember this? From the bottom of my heart, Jimmy loves you. I really, really love you. God bless you and have a blessed day.